See, class will be having class name. Under this class, we'll be having the properties and data members, properties or data members and methods. If we are taking the vehicle class, type, size, color, or the properties we have, moving, steering, or the methods, which is used to perform some action. Now see, here we have the access specifiers, public, private, protected, default. Public we have discussed so far. Whatever the data members and data members we are trying to access outside of the class also, it will be allowed. If it is a private, those members we cannot able to access outside of the class. That concept we'll see. As we know how we are going to be write the class, see here, just I'm taking one class, class A. I'm not taking public static void main here. Just I'm taking one class, and this is a variable. I'm declaring a variable A. This is called as instance variable. What is meant by instance variable? We have discussed. Instance variable is a variable which we are declaring outside of a method and inside of a class. Instance variable is one of the type of variable which is used for declaring inside the method, sorry, outside of the method and inside the class. And we are going to be write one method here. Method one, let me consider. If I'm not representing any access specifier, that will be considered as public access specifier. If I'm not specifying any access specifier here, by default, it is going to be considered as public access specifier. Under this method, I'll be writing one logic, just simple, which is used for implementing some task over here. I'm going to write the text content. And here, see the syntax for writing the method. This is a return type. This is a return type method one. The method one is the name of the method. And if any arguments we require to use, we are going to be represent those arguments here. Void is a return type. Void is a return type. When we are using void here, we are not supposed to use any return type. Okay. See here, we'll see the implementation. Just I'll be writing the statement as implementation of method one. Implementation of method one. If you don't have any access specifier, by default, will be considering as public access specifier. If we are not giving any access specifier here for this method or this particular variable as well, we are going to be considered this is a public access specifier by default. See, I'll be creating one more class. I'll be creating one more class AA. Here, I'm taking the public static void main. Public static void main. Now, for these two classes, I can say this class is a main class because we have the main method here. We have the main method here. Now, I want to access these variables and methods what we have in this class to the class AA. See, I'll write one more method, method 2. Implementation of method 2. And I'll write one more method. Implementation of method 3. Implementation of method 3. So three methods I have taken here. All these three methods I want to call for execution. Now, if I'm calling this for execution, it is not going to be print anything because we didn't write any task over there. Every class will be having one method. Every class will be having one method by default. That method is called as main method. If I'm selecting this main method, so there will be one method by default that is a main method. And if you see, I didn't write any logic which has to be performed under this particular method. I didn't write any logic which has to be performed under this particular method. So here There is nothing to execute. I have to call this methods for execution. I have to call these methods for execution. How I can able to call these methods for execution? See here, first I have to create the object for this particular class from where we have to access the methods. For creating the object, for creating the object, we have class name, we have class name, space, object name is our wish, new, again class name. This is the syntax for creating an object. Class name, object, new class name. Class name, object, new class name. So with this, it is going to be get create the object for the class called as class A. Now, if I want to access the variables or the methods of this particular class with this object, with this object, we can able to use the dot operator. See, automatically intelligence is going to be suggest to us what are the methods I can able to access here. And if you see here, this is a one method we are accessing AO dot method 2, method 3. Everything we are accessing. And if I'm calling this for execution, it is going to be called for execution. See, whatever may be the order of methods we are implementing in this particular class, we no need to consider. Whatever may be the order we are implementing these methods in the class, we no need to consider. But what we have to consider, the way we are calling here, the order we are calling here is most important. See, sometimes the logic what we have written in the method 2 need to be executed first. Because of that, we have to call that method first and which method we have to call next based on the logic we can able to call. Just simply now I have written some three methods and I need to call the three methods simply I have called this sequentially only. If it is required, any order we can change. Whatever it may be the order we are calling these methods or here, the same order it is going to be considered for execution. The same order only it is going to be called for execution. Okay, so now all the three methods are public. All the three methods are public, and we would like to access a variable as well, right? So integer variable I have taken there value of I or value of a. I didn't given any value. See, just I have declared this variable here. I just declared this variable here, but I didn't initialize with any value. I didn't initialize with any value. In that particular case, what will happen here? Default value, it is going to be print. What is the default value of integer variable? This 0. It is going to be print 0. I'm calling this variable. It is going to be print 0. We'll see that. At last, we are going to be call this. Value of a is 0 we are getting. Value of a is 0. Now, this is a public method. I'll be using the public keyword. See now, just I'll save it. It is going to be called without any restriction. If I'm not using public or here, if I'm not using public or here, by default, it is going to be consider the access specifier as public only. Private. And this one is protected. Let me consider. We are getting error or here. See, previously, when all the three methods is having the access specifier as public, all the three methods call for execution. If we didn't give an any access specifier also, all the three methods is called for execution. But now it is giving the error over here. See, change visibility of method 2 to package, or else we should not call the method for execution, because this method is a private method. This method is a private method. We cannot able to access that private method outside of the class. If we want to access this private method, we can able to access within the class. We can able to access within the class. Outside of this class, we cannot able to access this private method. Okay, fine. Now, this is a private method. We cannot access this method as it is private method. But protected we can able to access. Protected we can able to access because it is under same package. It is under same package. The two classes, class AA is under the same access, sorry, is under same package. Because of that, protected we can able to access. Outside of the package, we cannot able to access the protected event. Okay, see here. Now again, I'll be executing this. Method 1 implementation, method 3 implementation, value of A we are going to begin. See, and now what I will do here is I'm creating the object for this particular class here. Class A object, A B obj or A obj1, I'll be taking the object, new class name. I have created the object for this particular class A here, and A obj1 dot method 2, method 2, method 2. If you observe here, aobj1 dot, what are all the methods we can able to access here? What are all the methods we can able to access here? Method 1, method 2, method 3. For this method 1, we have the red color, sorry, green color here, which will represent public. And for method 2, it is a red color, which is going to be represented as a private. And method 3, which is in yellow color, which will be represents protected. Okay, so we are going to be called the method 2 here. Now, implementation of method 2 and implementation of method 3. So because see here in this particular class, first I am calling this method, calling method 2, which is under private access specifier within the class. First, this method is going to be called for execution, and this is going to be called for execution. Or if I'm writing this statement after this particular statement, it is going to be execute after that. Depends on the position we are calling that particular statement. Access, public, private, protected. if the variables or methods declared with public access specifier, access specifier can be accessible inside the class and outside of the class wherever it is required. If it is a private, if the variables or methods declared with private access specifier cannot be accessible outside of the class. That is, we can access within the class. That what we have discussed practically. And protected, what is the difference between protected and private? If we have within the same package, or if we have parent and child relationship, then only that can be accessible within the class. Sorry, then if the two classes are there within the same package, or if we have parent and child relationship, then only we can able to access the private members outside of the class. Otherwise, it is going to be restricted like a private. Okay. Protected variables or methods can be accessible within the package or parent child relationship. That relationship is called as is a relationship. Parent child relationship is, we are going to be called that as a is a relationship. Is a relationship. Okay, we'll see this example. Okay, now we will discuss method overloading. Method overloading. What is meant by method overloading? What is method overloading? So which will be polymorphism. Polymorphism. What is meant by polymorphism? The ability to perform more than one thing with the same name. The ability, poly means many, poly means many, morphs, forms, many forms. The ability to perform different things with the same name. Okay. So in this, we can say two concepts under method overloading. Sorry, under polymorphism, one is method overloading and the other one is method overriding. In that, we are discussing method overloading. See, what is meant by method overloading? In a class, more than one method, more than one method within the same class, within the same class, sorry, more than one method with the same name, with the same name and different arguments. In a class, more than one method with same name and different arguments. In a class, we will be having one, sorry, same name should be there for one more than one method with a different argument. So I'll take here int, int is the return type, int, add, int a comma, int b. Something we are writing here. Anyhow, we'll see this example directly. See here, int add int n1 comma int n2. Two integer variables I have taken here. Now, when we are taking the int as a return type, we must use a return type in the body of the method. So because of that only it is giving the error to us, add return statement. So what I would like to return, so just simply I would like to return n1 plus n2. Simply I'll return n1 plus n2. Next, int add int n1, int n2, int n3. N3 return statement. N1 plus N2 plus M3. Okay. Now see here, the method name is same. The method name is same and different arguments we have. Here two arguments we have and here we have three arguments. And if you see double double add, double num1, double num2, double num1, double num2. So other than void, any data type, if we are using also, we need to use the return type. Return num1 plus num2. Num1 plus num2. See, here if you observe, this is add method, this is add method, this is add method. Here we have two integer arguments. Here we have three integer arguments. Here again we have two arguments which is under double. I will say that this method is different with one argument. I mean, a different type of arguments we have, and here we have different type of arguments. The number of arguments is same here, and they are different in type of argument. Here we have two arguments. Here we have two arguments, but here those two are integer arguments, and here those two are double arguments. It will be different in arguments. It will be considered different in arguments. Here we have integer arguments. Here also we have integer arguments. But it is different in number of arguments here. Here we are taking two arguments. Here we are taking three arguments. It may differ the number of arguments in two ways. Different arguments. One way is different in type of arguments, and the other one is different in number of arguments. Anything we can say. Okay, different arguments. In a class, more than one method. In a class, more than one method with the same name and different arguments. same name and different arguments. Different arguments may be different in number of arguments or different type of arguments as well. Okay, so we are having this. Now we need to create the main class for this. Just have created the object. Just have created the object. Now, if I want to call this methods for execution, if I want to call this methods for execution, how I can able to call these methods for execution? How we can call this? See, previously the method does not have any arguments. Simply by using the object, I'll be calling that method. But now if you see the methods what we have here, we need to pass the arguments also while we are calling the method. mo dot, see here, there is a add int double this one. First, I'll be giving this value. Here, if I'm passing the integer values, it is going to be called this method. Here, if I'm passing the double values, it is going to be called this particular method for execution. See here, 22.5. Now this is going to be called double method. mo dot add of, I'll be considering two integers, it is going to be called. All the three integers we have passed as an argument. Now, for our understanding, see here, just I'll be return the statement, and I didn't write any SOP statement to print the value of it. So because of that, it is not printing. Okay. Addition result of two double values. It is going to be get. See, when we are making a call to this particular method, it is going to be return this result, and that result is going to be get back to the calling statement, and it is going to be get printed out here. Addition result of two integer values. Addition result of two integer values. addition result of three integer values. Addition result of three integer values. Now, if I'm calling this, we'll be getting as per our content. It is giving the values. So the respective methods is going to be call for execution. If you want, if you will write will one statement out here, not looks good, but for your understanding, it will not looks good the statement what we're writing here, but for your understanding. Addition method, add method, implementation with two integer values. Add method implementation with three integer values. Add method implementation with two double values. Two double values. Okay. First, it is going to be called this statement. First, it is going to be called this statement. Because of that, it will enter here. It will enter here. And this is a statement we have. First, it is going to be work that particular statement. As a result, we are going to get this. And it is going to be written the result. When it is going to be written the result, it will come back to the control statement here. It will come back to the control statement here. And it is going to be print this statement, addition result. And it is going to be called this method. So when it is calling this method, first it will go here. It will go here and it is going to be print this statement and it is going to be written this value back here. Like that, it is going to be work. So because of that, we are getting this output. This is nothing but method overloading. For polymorphism, operator overloading also one of the example we can say, but operator overloading concept is not there in Java. So it has been given in C++, but it is not there in Java. Method overloading, method overriding concept we have. See, next we have method overriding. Method overriding. This concept we will be discussed after discussing inheritance concept. Because method overriding, in a sense, method overloading is in a class more than one method with same name and different argument. Method overriding is in a class more than one method with same name and same argument. With same name and same arguments. more than one method in the same class in the class with the same name and same arguments as well. That is nothing but method overriding. We cannot implement method overriding within the class. By using parent child relationship, we will implement it. By using parent child relationship, we are going to be implemented. That is, by using is a relationship, we are going to be implement this. This is a method overriding. After discussing the inheritance concept, we will discuss this. Now, inheritance. Inheritance. By acquiring the properties of one class, by acquiring the properties and methods of one class, we are going to be derive the another class. By the process of acquiring the properties and methods of one class will derive the other class. That is nothing but inheritance. Main advantage of inheritance is code reusability. Code reusability. How it is going to be kept, we will see. Different types of inheritance. Different types of inheritance. Single level inheritance. Single level inheritance. Multi-level inheritance. Multiple inheritance. Hierarchical inheritance. Hierarchical inheritance. And then finally, hybrid inheritance. Implementation of multiple and hybrid inheritance by using classes is not supported in Java, but we can implement it using by using interface concepts. By using interfaces, we can able to implement. How we are going to be implement that, we will discuss each one in detail. See here, first one, single level inheritance. Implementing, or we can say the process of deriving a single class from the other class. Just, just a minute. There's one class. There's another class. We have the parent and child relationship between this. Let me consider this is a class A, this is class B, class A, class B. So now this class is considered as parent class or superclass or base class. From this class, we are using the properties and methods of this class. We are deriving the another class. We are deriving the another class. That class will be called as child class or subclass or derived class. From class A, we are deriving the class B. From class A, we are deriving the class B. See here, parent class A is called as parent class. From this particular class, whatever may be the properties and methods we have, that is going to be get into this particular class. Code reusability is one of the advantage we have discussed. What is meant by code reusability? How it will becomes as an advantage? Let's suppose I need, see, in the class A, I have three methods. In the class A, I have three methods. And in class B, I need to have five methods. Let's suppose class A is having three methods and class B is have, I need five methods. Among the five methods, the three methods, what I need into the class B is, which is there in class A. The same methods I need to have in class B. Instead of implementing those three methods, what we have in class A into the class B again, those three methods we are going to be sorry, in between those two classes, if I'm maintaining the parent and child relationship, that relationship is called as is a relationship, then automatically, without implementing those three methods into the child class, I can able to access the parent class three methods into the child class. The extra two methods which is required for us, we are going to be implementing the child class. Along with the three methods, what we have in the parent class, these two methods which is required extra for us in the child class can be accessible by the child class. So here, instead of writing the three methods again, which is there in the parent class to the child class, the code length will be decreases. If the code length is decreasing in the sense, automatically the compilation time will be reduces, execution time also will be reduces. Even seconds or nanoseconds, microseconds also most important for us in processing. The same code, if I'm writing again in a sense, code length will be increases and the same code is going to be repeated more than one time. If any errors are there, that many times we have to rectify. Many factors will be there. Because of that, we are going to be say code reusability is one of the advantage of inheritance. Okay, so this is from one class we are deriving the other class is the inheritance concept. Different types of inheritance we will discuss in the next session.